WCS finals here in Korea for season number 1. We've got 2 mirror matchups coming out at you today. It's going to be 2 TBTs. ForGG was actually able to get out of his group yesterday and take first place, which surprised a lot of people.
And guys, without further ado, we're jumping right into the game because the match has already started. Map number 1 between MVP and ForGG is going on right now. Starting to the top left of the map, we have for Team Millennium.
Millennium ForGG from Europe.
And starting to the bottom right of the map, his opponent.
LGIM MVP from Europe.
And I'm sure that production is going to catch up very soon, that we don't have in-game sounds. That's something that we can live within the first few minutes of the game, of course.
Yeah.
We don't really need them that fast, but of course later on they will be provided. We currently have the 2 Terran players going up against each other, and they were really, I mean, they had so surprising results yesterday.
Yeah.
ForGG, one of the players, I personally did not expect him to come out of the group.
I was really shocked as well, you know, especially first, like you said, Hero having definitely a tough time in that group. That's part of the reason why ForGG was able to get through. MVP, on the other hand, taking a pretty handedly won victory in his group. A lot of people were wondering if MVP would ever return to dominance. He won Europe, and now looking pretty strong, of course, in the finals here. So I'm wondering if we're going to see him go all the way. That would be such a good story for him. I love to see old heroes who have, you know, were once so dominant take a kind of a break and then come back. It's really a good story. It just goes to show that, you know, if you lose your momentum, you can still get it back.
I personally am really happy for ForGG here. I did not think that he would be able to perform just this well, but yesterday, coming out of this group as being the first place, it was really an amazing feat. And today he is up against another Terran player. He is now up against, as you can see, MVP, who did really well in Europe. He won, of course, WCS in Europe. And let's see what he can do today. MVP, traditionally a very good tournament player, very strong. But the one thing that is really amazing about ForGG is that he just doesn't lose in Terran versus Terran. This guy is so good. He's actually in Heart of the Swarm. He is 10-0 in TVT.
That's insane.
And for him, it's like the best bracket possible. Not only is he up against MVP right now, but if he's able to go through this match and into the semifinals, he's going to meet another Terran player. He's going to meet either Innovation or Live.
Exactly. You know, at the very least, until the finals, he gets TVTs. So if he makes it all the way, that's for me the first time he gets to play a different matchup today, or for the rest of this tournament. Right now, the builds for these 2 players are relatively similar. We have a faster factory tech for MVP, who went for the earlier gas, and also has this Reaper to scout. And as a result, of course, ForGG has the faster command center and will get his own factory up relatively soon. He's just a little bit behind in gas mining.
Yeah, MVP trying his best here with the Reaper to be a bit of an annoyance, but of course, with the Reaper, the scouting information are really what you're out for in the early game. If you get a few lucky kills, that's what you were hoping for, but in the end, it's more about finding out what's going on in my opponent's base.
Exactly, yeah. It's definitely all about the scouting. We made a second Reaper here, which means he can be a little bit more aggressive. Obviously, he's already missed his window to kill the SCV that's building the commands or anything like that. No delays possible here. But he's going to come to the main base. He wants to see if he can, when the factory is going down, its positioning, and also whether or not he's taking double gas in the main base. He's not able to get in there, though. Really nice deny by ForGG.
Yeah, now currently at the bottom right, we have the extra command center coming up for MVP, going to the quick third here right away. And those Reapers actually doing a really good job up here. Still denying mining time at the natural of his opponent. ForGG is in a little bit of trouble. He's not in a horrible position, but this is of course for him very annoying that he can't deal with those Reapers just yet. Waited for additional Marines and now is moving out and knows that he should be fine against it, especially with him now picking up Reaper number 2.
Yeah, pick off the second Reaper there, and right now we do have Hellbats on the way. This is something that MVP wants to know about because he's going for a riskier third command center, and knowing that your opponent's going to Hellbat drop you allows you to get in position to defend. He doesn't actually see the armory just yet. He will see it. Nice. This is such a perfect scout year for MVP. Also denies some of the build time on that starport.
That's exactly what he needed to know here. He knows that at this point there is going to be a Hellbat drop being prepared against him, and of course the defense for him will be accordingly. He's going to play the more passive game anyways because of his earlier command center, the third that he's producing. But if he is able to hold against his opponent's aggression, he will be in a great position and will be able to take the lead in the tournament.
And he takes out these units here in the middle of the map almost for free, losing only one Hellion, killing several Marines, almost getting that Hellion of his opponent as well. And he's even going to be able to pressure through here. This bunker's not going to be ready in time. He can actually just walk right up And all this pressure that MVP is putting on his opponent while taking a third command center is just going to push him further and further ahead. Nice block with the depot, but it's not going to last very long. He has to cancel it.
Yeah, has to cancel here. And currently the Hellion is actually getting into the base, and this is really bad for ForGG. He needs to pay attention. He's losing too many SCVs already, and the Hellbats, they are just not fast enough to catch up, taking down one of those Hellions. But this is just so much trouble here for the Millennium play. He has a huge problem dealing with this, and his entire build has been thrown off by it.
Exactly. You know, that last part you just said is the most important part. Yeah, he lost a few SCVs here, but the bigger deal is that MVP has a third command center, and it's not being pressured. The Hellbat drop is delayed. He's not coming out here.
Right now what we see is already an elite in Harvester still for ForGG at this point, but now with the triple SCV production, MVP is able to catch up really fast against his opponent. So at the bottom right of the map now, MVP taking a little bit of a more defensive stance. He already has the Hellions in position and is waiting with his Viking for his opponent Medivac to arrive.
Yep. And right now it's just a matter of time. ForGG needs to do damage as soon as possible, or MVP is just going to get further and further ahead. Notice also on the production tab, you can see the +1 attack is getting close to being done. It's going to give his mech units a lot more ability to do damage. The engineering bay here, of course, just going to be for turrets, as it looks like ForGG is going to a complete mech composition here, 100%.
At this point, the Medivac still not deciding to go into the main base, but ForGG is really going into the +1 attack upgrade. Nearly completed. Additional Hellbats are coming in. Then the turrets will give him so much safety, but for now, he's trying to boost in with both Medivacs at the same time. The first one already taken out, but we have Hellbats now in the main base of MVP, and immediately the pull on the SCV is able to save most of them.
Yeah, really good pulls there by MVP, losing very little here overall. 4 workers killed in total. And the turret really helped me out of the natural. This Medivac will escape. Notice, though, that even though MVP has a third command center, because he hasn't powered up his production facilities as much, he's still very much down in supply, so he needs to actually move that command center over and add a few more production facilities. And even though he's had 3 command centers, he's 11 workers behind in total. He just has not been hitting his SCV production as smoothly as ForGG has.
Yep, he is further and further falling behind here. This is by far ForGG's best matchup. This is the matchup that brought him here in the first place. He is really strong. He performed so well yesterday, also in his games, of course, against the other racers, against Hero of all people. And now we are currently in a situation where MVP really is struggling against his opponent. ForGG being the one who's calling the shots once again with the Hellbat in the main base of his opponent, but this time not too much damage done to the economy.
Yeah, not too much done at all here. And I just, you know, even though he hasn't done damage, he's just still staying ahead in supply. It's kind of incredible. He's also ahead in upgrades, making 4 factories right now. So both players are going into mech, but ForGG just having the factories up faster. And, you know, I really don't even fully understand how that's happening. I mean, MVP just must not be hitting his macro as well, just simply put, as ForGG is right now.
Millennium player with another attempted drop going right into this missile turret. He doesn't really care about the Medivac here. He's dropping those Hellbats on top of his opponent's SCVs. And once again, MVP losing a few workers here. 8 in total killed so far by now. Not too many, but it's just the macro behind it that really gives ForGG the lead. The combination of annoying his opponent, keeping him on his toes, and just forcing mistakes out of the LGIM turn.
Yeah, very well said. And right now it's mostly Hellbats coming out for ForGG, whereas MVP has a contingency of both Hellbats and Hellions themselves. And Hellions, of course, if microed, can beat Hellbats. It's all about how the fight happens, and we've seen this just yesterday. Sometimes if you kite well, you can win the fight easily, but also there's the ability to just put the Hellbats inside of Medivac, boost on top of the Hellions, drop behind, and then of course get those really, really good shots off.
Currently what we see here is the third base now finally being placed down at the third base at the mineral line, and immediately they are trying to he's trying to saturate those bases that we basically currently see here. And let's find out if MVP is actually able to come back. We have him at 104 supply now at against 120. The harvester count, the gap is closing slowly but steadily. MVP trying to get into a better position now, but we have already 16 Hellbats for ForGG. His trademark style here once again coming through, and he is really pushing MVP's buttons now. He's getting ahead in overall supply and edging out those upgrades. Already on +2. The upgrade that MVP just started a few seconds ago.
Yeah. 6 Hellbats at a time coming out for ForGG. He is really powering out with those minerals. All the mules he's been dropping. The third base he's had up for a while. And all the factories are built with the reactors. He has 22 Hellbats out in total, and he has the siege tank count advantage as well. The one thing that MVP has, of course, are those Hellions. And it's all about his micro here, whether or not he's going to hold this timing push that's coming out from ForGG. And to be quite frank, I just don't see him doing it.
Right now we have him with 4 tanks. He will of course have a good position if he forces his opponent to attack into those tanks, but it's just such an overwhelming amount of army supply that we currently see here for the Millennium Terran player. He's at 95 against 78, doing a decent job scanning ahead, trying to find out about the position.
Tanks are unsieged.
And the tanks are unsieged completely. ForGG with the first siege up here, crushing through that bunker and the defense. We have the Hellions and the Hellbats at the front doing a lot of damage, and MVP is being pushed back here. He doesn't stand a chance in that battle.
He does not stand a chance in the battle, but he does kill a lot of harvesters. It's not enough. GG, he knows that ForGG is at his doorstep, and even though he killed some harvesters, he's not going to be able to hold off the actual attack that's at his base. I mean, if you consider that this entire push was coming, you saw it earlier, it's kind of a huge oversight they didn't siege his tanks there.
Yeah, definitely. He saw the scan also that was coming from ForGG, trying to test the waters a little bit and see what exactly is on top of that high ground to find out if he could attack into it. He gets the faster siege up and then just demolishes all the units at the front, namely the Hellions and also the bunker. Goes up with those Hellbats, pushes through, and just the entire tank line of MVP trying to siege up, not getting those shots off, being obliterated. And ForGG takes the first game in the series.
Yeah, ForGG just looking unbeatable in Terran versus Terran right now. Despite the fact that he had a later commander, despite the fact that he didn't do very much damage with his Hellbats, he built a composition that was strong, very powerful, hit a timing, and just somehow it was able to out-macro MVP with one less base for so long.
Out-macro him, a really good point here. He was really able to just hit his macro the entire time while he was executing aggression. That was something that MVP was trying to do, dropping his opponent at the same time, establishing himself a third base. It never really worked for him. It was actually ForGG who always just to try push MVP's buttons, go in, do a bit of harass, just annoy him, and just macro behind it perfectly without dropping the ball even once and getting ahead.
Yeah. So map number 2 is actually going to be Newkirk Precinct. Of course, one of our newer maps in the pool. We'd never actually used this in the GSL or the WCS before, so this is the first time we're going to see it. Of course, it used to be a ladder map, and of course it's being remade. I know you and Artosis talked about this earlier a little bit on stream. I got to watch all of those matches you guys cast over there.
We had some crazy matches. I have to say that the Protoss versus Protoss was just a smackdown by SRS.
It was a smackdown.
But did you see those ZVZs?
Those ZVZs were incredible.
Wow, they were really good. I mean, that was a very entertaining series that we saw. And I love that we are now having suddenly swarm hosts being used in Zerg versus Zerg. That's something we witnessed yesterday when Dimaga was playing. Even Ultralix, Broodlord, Ultralis with a few swarm hosts was really crazy. Now we are in a different mirror matchup though. We are going into map number 2 here at our Terran versus Terran. We have ForGG up against MVP. Let's find out what the LGIM player can do in map number 2.